Hey, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach. Every week, I come into your life. Really do three things, folks. I want to multiply your life. I want to multiply your money. And I want to multiply your business. And I do that through a podcast I do every single week called Super Coach. I believe a good coach can change your life. I believe a good coach can drastically accelerate your life. And today, if I got a topic for you, and I'm gearing up, Jack, I spent most of the day yesterday gearing up for a big boot camp I have this Wednesday and Thursday at my lodge on one of the biggest concepts I've ever created called person of interest. So today on Super Coach, we're going to talk about how do you become famous? How do you become known? How do you become renowned? How do you become celebrated? Because if you get this right, folks, you become the buyer versus the seller. And when you become the buyer versus the seller, people are chasing you. You are no longer chasing them because chasing anything sucks, man. Today, I'm going to teach you how to be famous. What is a unique process for you to become famous through person of interest? I'm Coach Michael Burt, and you're watching Super Coach.
Everybody needs a coach in life. Coaching businesses and entrepreneurs like you to spike an additional 40% to your bottom line. Michael Burt is a multi-championship coach, best-selling author, trainer, motivator, and all-around super coach. Now, from the Greatness Factory Studios, this is Super Coach.
All right, folks, welcome back to Super Coach. I'm at the Greatness Factory Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, building a new Greatness Factory. Can't tell you where at, but it's going to be in Nashville. We're talking about having one in London. Houston, I signed an agreement today, or waiting to sign an agreement for one in Houston, Texas. Miami, potentially. Scottsdale. Folks, come on, let's do this, right? Let's do this, man. Let's quit talking about doing it. Let's quit dreaming about doing it. Let's quit bitching about doing it. Let's actually do it, folks. Let's actually do it. So, I'm Coach Michael Burt. Every single week I come into your life, I coach a lot of people, man. Probably about 1,000 people a month that we're pumping content out to. Maybe over 400,000 people we're reaching. Thank you to the almost 540,000 people that's downloaded my shows on YouTube. And thank you to the, I don't know how many, 200,000 downloads on our podcast or more. We need to get to 2 million, Jack. I need you to go over to my YouTube channel, folks, and subscribe. I pump out so much content so I can come into your life every single day. But today we're going to talk about something. I got a big boot camp coming up this week at my lodge. We're also doing that boot camp virtually called Person of Interest. Many years ago, when I first started my business, I got very poor advice. And the advice was basic advice. It's not wrong or incorrect. It's just incomplete. And the advice was, man, I want to grow my business. I want to become known. I don't want to chase people. I want to be the buyer versus the seller. And people said, well, you got to get your name out there. That's one thing they told me. Where have I got to get it? Hey, don't know. It's very, very nondescript. You got to get your name out there. And you got to call 100 people a week. And you got to join the local chamber of commerce. And it's not that those things are wrong. But what they should have told me is you got to become known. You've got to become famous. You've got to become a person of interest. So on a Saturday morning, I'm having breakfast with my buddy, Tommy Davidson. We're good friends. He's also one of our top clients. And I literally just wrote down on a piece of paper, man, chasing anything sucks. How do I become a person of interest? And I wrote down those three words: person of interest, interesting person, person that other people are attracted to, person that other people are bringing opportunity and deals to. And so I sat down over the next, I don't know, X number of weeks, and I wrote a book called Person of Interest. Now, little did I know how popular that book would become 7 or 8 years later. And actually, I really need to come out with a second edition because it's changed so much. So when I'm working on the weekend, I've got this boot camp coming up, and I want to put people through a process. Imagine a process where you could actually go from a baby star to a big star. You're a talented person, but you're unknown. You're obscure, right? Sam Taggart called me over the other day, And he said, man, when you were speaking with Ed Mylett and Tim Grover at my door-to-door conference, he said he was out at Mylett's house. And Mylett said to him, who's speaking at the conference? He said, well, Tim Grover and Coach Burt. And Sam Taggart told me, he said, Mylett said, Burt, that dude is one of the most talented, unknown people in the world that I've seen in a long time. It's a huge compliment coming from Ed Mylett, so thank you for that. But my concept is he's right, man. You don't have a talent problem. You got a marketing problem. You have a distribution problem. You got a becoming famous problem. Saturday night at my lodge, Louis Bryce, Lee Bryce's brother. I'm watching Lee Bryce last night on the Academy of Country Music Awards, and Saturday night I'm watching Louis Bryce's younger brother at my house, and the dude's got talent and swag and energy and confidence and connectivity, and I'm like, that dude is going to be famous. It's just a matter of time. So today I want to give you some characteristics of a unique process on how do you become famous, okay? And typically it all starts out with one simple thing. If you're going to become famous, you have to have some type of unique skill or unique talent. Think about people that you admire, respect, look up to, are attracted to. They all have some unique talent, yes or no? They can sing, they can dance, they can perform, they can connect, they can communicate. They all have some unique skill. You will never be famous if you have average skills. Money doesn't buy you freedom, folks. Skills buys you freedom. To become famous, you got to be known for something unique. You have something unique that other people don't have. You have something that is interesting. Maybe it's an interesting perspective. Maybe it's interesting, right? But the number one thing you got to have to become famous is you got to find your primary skill. Now, you see a book over my shoulder, Single Digit Millionaire. That book is all about finding your primary skill and making millions of dollars with that skill. So step one is you got to have something unique. Right? You don't become famous for that's the most average person I know. He's famous. No, you become famous by having a skill. What is your skill? Also, I put in here, you got to have a spirit of abundance. Abundant-minded people are in the business of cooperating, not competing. They're looking for collaboration. They understand you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. Our number one goal is not to go get the money. Our number one goal is to go be famous. And the more famous we are, and the more value we have, and the more our skill solves a problem for another person, the more people who will pay for that skill. Why does Tom Cruise make $25 million to do Mission Impossible? Because he's just that damn good. His skills are good. So he's got a unique skill. You got to have this spirit of abundance, man, where people are attracted to you. And this is Ed Mylett saying. He said, you got to have a dream so big that other people's dreams can fit into your dream. That's a spirit of abundance. I got a big goal. I got big dreams. And people are trying to fit. I could fit so many other people inside those dreams. So the second thing you got to have is you got to have, man, a spirit of abundance. I want to combo that with the impression of increase. Right? Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. I'm talking to Paul Martinelli. Martinelli was responsible for helping John Maxwell do $350 million in 33,000 certified coaches. And I'm talking to Martinelli, and he keeps talking about this impression of increase, that you're a person of advancement. You give off this impression to other people that when they're with you, I feel better about me. This impression of increase. People of interest give off an impression. And the impression is, I'm going places. And you can go places with me, too, if you want to go to that level. Get on board the train or get on board the jet because the jet's going places. You know, Saturday, Jack, I took a group of people with me on the jet over to Houston, and it's like, man, they had a blast. They're like, this is incredible. We're flying private. We're talking big things, right? We're this impression of increase, man. So you got a unique skill. You got a spirit of abundance, meaning you don't operate in fear, lack, scarcity, worriness, anxiety. You are a person that brings this confidence and energy to the world that people says, dadgummit, man, that's what I want. And what are you giving off? You're giving off the impression of increase. So if you're out there and you're watching the show today and you're trying to figure this out, it's like, hey man, right? You're out there and you're watching. I'm trying to find the comments on my thing here, folks. There they are. Comments on. Brian Covey, LaDawn Townsend, Daniel Hodges, Chris. What's up, Chris? Good to see you. Mike McDaniel. The way you become famous, folks, is you have some of these things. Jessica, right? Now think about what you're missing right now. If you got a spirit of lack, if you don't put off the impression of increase, if you are a person, right, that is not giving off, if you don't have a unique primary skill, you're probably not going to become famous. I'm watching those entertainers last night on the Academy of Country Music Awards, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, that person is talented. Okay, now let me give you number 4. When I'm looking at all these things, okay, person of interest. Here's the deal. You also got a message, Poncho Scott. You got a message, man. People of interest have something to say. They have core beliefs. They are sharing their message with the world. People are asking me about selling tickets. Like, how do you sell tickets out? You know, like, how do you sell tickets and all these things? And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, the only person who could sell out an arena, I guarantee you, is Trump. Trump shows up, we'd sell out every ticket. You don't know what the dude's going to say. You don't know what he's going to say. Right, person of interest, right? He is a person of interest. So when you're thinking about this, you got a unique skill. You got a spirit of abundance. You get out the impression of increase, right? Oh, here's another one before we take a break. You are creating something. People of interest are in the business of creation. They're not static. They're not status quo. They're not doing the same thing. They are creating something. I'm creating greatness factories. I'm creating energy. I'm creating new books. I'm creating content. I'm trying to create something that will solve problems in the world. Elon Musk read comic books growing up. And in the comic books, there was always the comic books had a superpower, and they wanted to save the world. Look at what he's doing today, man. He's creating a whole new car line, creating the ability to go to Mars, creating something. People of interest. Bezos created Amazon. Jobs created Apple, right? I don't like talking about Bill Gates because I don't like Gates, man. I think Gates is up to something. I think he's always up to something. He's that smart dude that you don't trust, who's always up to something. Do you know that Gates in March of 2020, Jack, filed for a patent for a chip, for a microchip to put in humans? Isn't that interesting, folks? All of a sudden, Mr. Vaccination wants everybody vaccinated because guess what he's going to be selling? A friggin' microchip to go in every person. He's the smart dude that's always up to something, which is why people don't trust him and ultimately probably don't like him. Now, he don't care because he's rich, but he's getting rich off fear. Okay? And I don't like that. Now, when you think about this, but he is a person of interest, being that wealthy. So when you think about it, if you're out there saying, how do I become famous? Man, I become famous because I got a unique skill. What is it? I got a spirit of abundance. I give off the impression of increase. I'm creating things, and I have something to say. I have something to say. Okay? So if you're out there and you're watching this, man, every single week, when I come back, I'm going to keep breaking these down. How do you become famous? How do you become known? How do you become renowned? These are the things you got to have initially to become a person of interest. So let's call these the organic things. And then the second part of becoming famous is the marketing and distribution. And this, if you're really talented, but you're really unknown, it's because you have a distribution problem. You don't have a talent problem. You got a marketing problem. And that, my friends, is what we're going to talk about next. You're watching Super Coach, and I'm Coach Michael Burke. Here's what I believe. I believe you're sitting on tremendous opportunities. I believe that you're one person away from a new season in your life. I believe that you've got the prey drive inside of you. It just needs to be activated. I want to teach you a concept of association. I associate concepts very quickly. It's like file folders in my mind. I think in terms of blue marlins versus blue gills. So when I see you, I don't just see you, I see you and all the people you have access to. You don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. Every dollar that's in your pocket started in the pocket of another person, right? But if you don't follow up with the people or don't solve a problem for the people, you don't make any of the money. So I used to think one-to-one. I now think one-to-many, okay? And this is how you got to start thinking, is that every person you know has access to potentially thousands of people that you need, okay? And so what I think about is big opportunities. and I think about who's the person who can open that door. Welcome back to Super Coach. Hope you guys are having back. We might have lost stream service for just a minute. I noticed the numbers dropped pretty significantly. So I don't know if you're there, if you're out there watching. They're coming back, Jack. Today we're talking how to be known, how to be famous. For many years, guys, I thought just being good was enough. I thought if you were really good at what you have, right? If you were really good, then people would just show up. And I didn't really understand until I started studying, what's up, True Man Lynch? Till I started studying great marketers that, man, there's two sides of this equation. There's an organic side, and the organic side is, hey, man, I got a spirit of abundance. I got a unique skill. I'm creating things. I give off the impression of increase. I got a message, right? But I got these ingredients to become a person of interest. It's like I'm a little baby star, but I need to be a big star. So when I'm teaching this boot camp this Wednesday and Thursday, and Eric White can post the link in there for person of interest, it's a game changer, man. It is an absolute freaking game changer. The content in this boot camp is a game changer because day one is all about you. What do you have? How do you go to work on you? Your skill, your message, your everything. Day two is about packaging and distribution. Packaging is anything the consumer can feel, touch, taste, see. Packaging is how do I take my special and package it up and shove it out to the marketplace. So then I get into how do I distribute it? Well, I distribute it through books. I distribute it through websites. I distribute it through funnels. I distribute it through strategic partners. I distribute it through replays, online academies, speaking engagements. This is how I began the act of becoming famous. Now, let's take an artist down on Broadway. They could stay down on Broadway and sing for 10 years and never become famous. Or they can get offensive, Evan Mackin, and they can start going, man, I need to go out there and get in front of the people who are the decision makers. Who has the money? Who are the economic buyers? How do I get in front of the economic buyers, the people that can change my life and move the needle? Most people say, man, I'm singing down on Broadway. What more do you want me to do? Yeah, but you're singing for people who can't sometimes move the needle for you. You need a decision maker, a connector. You need to learn how to market, brand, position, get attention. This is how you market, folks. Or if not, you never become famous. You are maybe the most talented person in the world. So the way my plan is to become famous, because I'm constantly thinking about it. Famous just means known. TV show is a way to get famous. Viral video, way to get famous. Strategic partners. Create something cool, way to get famous. Everybody see that? What I'm doing is I'm just working through how do I become known? How do I get a message to millions of people? How do you become? Look at the MyPillow guy doing his videos on MyPillow. He became famous. Right? How did Ed Mylett become famous? How did Cardone become famous? How did Tony Robbins become famous? Poor old Tony Robbins, man, all these people beating up on him. Right? He's getting a lot of negative publicity lately. Okay? That's what happens when you become famous, folks. You get haters. You get negative attention. You get people banging on you. So you got to first, now, people do not become famous that are not that skilled, not that talented. Okay? I mean, Jake Paul became famous from talking a big game on YouTube. Then he gets in the ring and knocks these people out. So he must be pretty good. That other dude, man. Jack, that other dude had a beer gut on him, man. Come on. Get in the ring on Saturday night. Look, he's been training and all. I wouldn't mess with either one of them, by the way. But once you know what it is you have to deliver with a frequency to people. Eric White on my team is always telling me, man, we gotta start a media company. We gotta pump out content all day long. This is what I'm doing right here, just coaching people. When I get done doing this podcast, I'm gonna do flip the switch, right? So think about this. Do you have a book? Everybody needs a book in life. Do you have a podcast? Everybody needs a podcast. Do you have a strategic partners? Do you have stages you can get on? Do you have a database of thousands of people you could communicate with? Do you have what is, because some people get in front of people and they're just not that good, man. They don't move the needle. They don't solve a problem. They don't help the world. If you're the artist that can sing your little heart out, but you can't get on a stage, you can't get in front of people, you're playing for 100 people versus 100,000 people. Garth Brooks played for 1 million people in what was that, New York? If you're the most talented person in the world, it's time you start thinking about distribution. So at the boot camp, I'm doing this Wednesday and Thursday. We'll post the link. I'm going to spend one full day on what do you have, one full day on branding and marketing. Folks, I went from a high school basketball coach, operating in a very one town, one city, coaching 30 people, to a person that is out there, at least touching 400,000 or 500,000 people. And that may not seem like a lot. It's not yet. But what happens when it becomes 4 million people? What happens if it becomes 40 million people? I watch some of these videos. How do I get 18 million streams on a video? Right? What can we do to become known? This is intentional. Sometimes it's a fluke and people just fluke into it. But for the most part, it's a very intentional act. Like, I want to be known. I want to be famous. I want to be somebody in the world. I want to be a person of interest. So all the moves I'm making is, look, I believe if you get me in front of people, Jack, we can do something. I believe I've spent my whole life getting ready. I believe, man, I know how to do it. I believe I help people when I get in front of people. It's just, how do we get in front of more people? That really is the game. It's promotion, promotion, promotion. So book, message, solutions to problems, new associations, strategic partnerships, anything you can do to take what it is you have and get it out to the marketplace. That is person of interest. So if you're serious about this, folks, are you serial or serious? Are you crazy, or are you crazy about becoming known, becoming famous? Because if you are, you need to have your butt at the boot camp this Wednesday and Thursday. It's at my lodge. You can be there in person, or you can watch it virtually. This will be some of the best money you've ever invested. Learning. Most people, Jack, have no idea what they've got. Then they have no idea how to package it, and they definitely have no idea how to sell it. And that is part of becoming a person of interest. Every week I come into your life. You can get all of my podcasts at America's Coach. Everywhere good podcasts are. Everywhere. Spotify, Audible. I mean, you name it. Okay? America's Coach has all of my podcasts there. Go there, click on it, listen to it. I want to help you be a person of interest in the world. And you say, why, Coach? Because, man, the more people that know you, the more people you can help. It's just that simple, man. It's a big planet with a lot of opportunity, Jay Cash. The more people that know you, the more people that flow you, man. So our goal every day should be promote, get crazy about promotion, become known, become an impactful person in the world that wakes up and does cool things, man. Be an interesting person, creating something new that advances people down the field. That is a big goal. I'm Coach Michael Burt. Thank you on Instagram. Thank you on Facebook, guys. Get my podcast at America's Coach. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. Thank you for watching. I'm going to say something very controversial here. And this is actually a chapter of my next book, chapter 3. You hear a lot of people talk about find your why. Find your why. You got to find your why. Simon Sinek wrote a great book, sold millions of copies, called Start With Why. Okay? Only to figure out that people didn't know their why, so I had to come back and write Find Your Why. Well, the third chapter of my new book is called Screw Your Why. And you say, why? And I'm going to tell you why. I have been coaching people for 28 years. I do not believe you sit in a room and find your purpose and then go do something big in the world. I believe your purpose finds you when you are in the pursuit of something bigger.